Okay, let's see. No, I don't want to switch account. I want to go to my channel. Hi, guys. Give me a second. Because I don't understand what is happening all the time with this crazy Chromebook. Hi. I don't know. Draco Luck plays? I have no idea. You tell me. I'm waiting on somebody to come in. Hi, everybody. Sorry for being quiet. I didn't realize anybody was in. Sorry for being quiet. Hi, Chloe V5W. I'm never sure. How was my day? My day was good. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked to have got done, but I'll get more done. Tan Bin Legend. I'm not screaming. And if I am, it's because I can't hear myself. I'm deaf in one ear. Or something like that. So, oh, thank you. We are going to get started because I don't know where people are at. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. we are doing a conservation success story today, which is different from what I usually do on live. Yeah, I usually have a couple more, but I don't know where everybody's at. That is the scientific name for the animal. And I'm not, this is a channel where I don't have as many subscribers as the normal channel, so that's okay. Okay. So our story begins, listen to me, our story. The story begins around the end of the 19th century to the beginning of the 20th century. And this is a time when women's fashion was not a friend of wildlife. Women's jackets and hats demanded that they have feathers in them, and not fake feathers, not chicken feathers, but wild bird feathers. And so thousands, if not millions, of birds were killed just for their feathers. Brown pelicans, herons, egrets, main victims, also other birds. When that fad died out, then came World War I. I do have a computer, but I use my phone. Why? Fishermen were blaming the pelicans for bad catches of fish. They didn't like sharing the fish with the pelicans, and so what they would do is they would go bing bing anytime that they saw a pelican. They would get out their pew-pews and take care of them. Oh, yeah, I don't know how. And basically they were killed as a scapegoat. Then came a semi-miracle for the birds, and that came in 1918 when Congress passed. Hey, Baragon, this is about the time when the Migratory Bird Act was being passed. And basically, this would make it illegal to kill migratory birds. So then flash forward to the mid to late 1900s, and another problem would raise its very ugly head. And that would be DDT. And we have talked about this at least 2 or 3 times, more than likely. DDT has a nasty condition where it actually builds up in the bodies of animals. So it does what's called bioaccumulation, where it just builds up in the fat and then sticks around for a while. And the more you build up, the sicker you get. Um, where am I? So DDT is a pesticide for those of you who don't know. Farmers used it to kill off insects. Unfortunately, when it rained, it washed the pesticide into the rivers. The rivers, of course, ran into the ocean, and fish and other small animals were then getting the stuff into their system. I'm getting to that. Carry me through. Pelicans then would feed on this fish. And like we've seen happen with the bald eagle, like we've seen happen to peregrine falcons and other birds, it messed up the females' bodies, and they were laying eggs with really thin shells. So it was so bad that they would sit on the eggs and the eggshells basically would break. Thus, mom could not incubate them because they were broken. Many bird species were affected by this chemical. Eventually, DDT would be outlawed, but not until 1972. However, DDT wouldn't be, we wouldn't stop production of DDT. We would just ban it from. More on that later. DDT would be banned, like I said. We would have a major win for this bird in the 1972 when it would be placed on the endangered species list. Now, it would take several decades for this bird to reach a point where it could be removed off the endangered species list. That would come in 2009. Now, other birds were affected by DDT, including bald eagles, ospreys, peregrine falcons, brown pelicans, California condors, and songbirds. Now, I don't generally do this, but because I knew I would have extra time on this one, I want to talk about DDT as it relates to more than just our birds. We focus a lot on DDT on birds, but come on, this is a toxin. We know it's dangerous, and so it shouldn't be a surprise that this chemical was accumulating in the bodies of other animals. And to an extent, it still does. This toxin has impacted marine mammals, fish, invertebrates in our oceans, as well as rodents and frogs. It bioaccumulates in people, yes. And it does cause issues. I didn't spend a lot of time digging into a lot of those issues because the websites I were finding were over my head. But what I can tell you is that between 2005 and 2008, DDT concentrations in Galapagos sea lion pups increased increased greatly. It impacted their immune systems. And again, while DDT cannot be used in America, it can be used in other countries. And it can be made in our country. It can be sold to other countries. Mexico stopped its usage of it in 2000. In humans, it can be inhaled, it can be taken in on the food we eat, and absorbed through our skin. It's said that we can still be exposed via our food, though it's not taken in huge amounts. There is so much more that I could say on this topic, but I would need more schooling to really do it justice. After all, I am not a doctor, so I'll leave it at that. It can be banned as long it's banned. The ban that we have on it strictly prohibits it from being used, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, DDT was developed as the first modern synthetic insecticide in the 1940s, and it was used to combat malaria, typhus, and other insect-borne human diseases, both military and civilian populations. It was very effective for insect control in crop and livestock production. DDT's quick success as a pesticide was awesome. But eventually it led to resistance in many insect species. The government would eventually put a ban on it. In addition, some animals exposed to DDT developed liver tumors. As a result, DDT is a possible human carcinogen. Studies have continued, and a relationship between DDT exposure and reproductive effects in humans is suspected. Known to be persistent in the environment and will accumulate in fatty tissues, it can also travel long distances in the upper atmosphere. After the use of DDT was discontinued here in our country, its concentrations in the environment has decreased, but residues of concern from historical use still remain today. There is a Stockholm Convention on POPs, which basically bans all uses of DDT except for limited exception for the use of DDT to control mosquitoes that transmit the microbe malaria. It is one of 12 pesticides recommended by the World Health Organization for indoor residual spray programs. It is up to individual countries to decide whether to use DDT. Yeah. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. There supposedly is no date. There's no data indicating DDT causes reproductive problems in humans or birth defects. I believe I read otherwise, but whatever. DDT tends to accumulate in the fatty tissues of insects, wildlife, and people, but produces no known toxic effects while it is stored in fats. DDT is highly persistent in the environment, and the soil half-life for DDT is from 2 to 15 years. Half-life is the time required for half of the compound to degrade, by the way. And oh, I thought we did. Okay, now this makes no sense. Um, very, very confused. I've read that it is not made in this country, but I also read that it can be legally manufactured for export to other countries for disease control, such as malaria vector control, which means controlling mosquitoes. So make up my minds. It either is or it isn't. Okay, so supposedly production and use of DDT has been eliminated in Canada, Mexico, and the United States, but I have heard otherwise. So maybe they did finally give it up. Which would be great. Eh. But yes, it is still being used around the world. So in places. So still an issue, just not here in the US. So anyway, that is that. Dashboard. Let's see. Let's do a really quick cheeky look at where all the channels are at. Currently, this channel has 398 subscribers, which is awesome. I need to get busy with it because I don't want stuff happening. I just closed out of it, which I didn't want to. Yes. Yep, there wasn't a super lot. We still run into issues with the birds getting into or being affected by oil spills. I just threw in the DDT because I haven't spent, it dawned on me, I hadn't spent, I never really spent a lot of time talking about it. Currently on the main channel, we have 1,874 subscribers. And then on the spooky channel, I wish I could get all of this on just one thing. We have 31 subscribers. And new story is up, working. And the next story is done. They left. But YouTube also lies, so who knows? I shouldn't say YouTube lies. Sometimes the live thing gets wacky. On the spooky channel, we have 31, and I need 50 before I can go live. I do have a request for another spooky live. We might do that. Coming up for this channel, which will be, I know, next week. I don't want the lives for this channel. I feel like I'm going to fall. Possibly. I really like the next two stories, even if this next one isn't so scary. We skipped a week somehow. Maybe Thanksgiving. I don't know. Probably Thanksgiving. The next Conservation Spotlight has me super excited. It's going to be brown pelican. No, it's not. I'm looking at the wrong thing. It's going to be a Conservation Spotlight, and it's going to be the Mexican gray tarantula. December 18th is going to be the southern rockhopper penguin. So we only have 3 lives for this month. So now we're down to 2. But January, we have the Cape hunting dog, Chinese 3-striped box turtle, Livingston's Flying Fox, Whales and Dolphins, and Porpoises Trivia. And then on the 29th, we have Tasmanian Devil, which also has me super excited. So lots of cool stuff coming up for that live. Yeah. Or for this live. And I'm not even going to look at anything else. Guys, I need to go eat. So, oh, we have more people, maybe? Hi, new people, if there is anybody else in live. If there is, let me know. Hi, Chloe. I was just going to go away, but I have somebody else in live. Okay, that's cool. What's up, Chloe? Where can you tell me what country you're from? And if you're from the United States, what state are you from? And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Oh, awesome. Okay. At one point, my family historically was in Ohio. And maybe I still have cousins there. I don't know. Oh, I'm sure they did. Later than us, though. Chloe, you get lots of snow? Yeah. I don't want it, but I got it. Oh, I didn't even see that. I live in Indiana. And we got nailed. Yeah, I don't know if it's fun, but it's a thing. Sometimes I sound like such a kid. We got, well, Chloe, we got 10 inches on the weekend. And then Monday and Tuesday, we picked up another 1 to 3 inches. But it sort of depends where you live because some areas got more than others. Got it. I don't know why sometimes it acts. Got it. Why did it hide that? That's not cool. Did the kids get out of school for that? I wonder. I bet. The thing that amazes me is how even though we have had even though we live in an area that gets snow, it amazes me how bad how people freak out over snow. I don't know. We got more than 3 inches here. I haven't gone out and measured it. I haven't gone out and measured it, but I'm sure there's more than 3 inches. Wow. Well, I know if you live further. Oh, no, it's not. If you really want to like build snowmen or stuff like that, you want sort of a wet snow. This was not a wet snow. Yeah, it was at least on the cars. There was like a layer of ice on top of the cars. I bet. How cool is that? I'd like to go to Antarctica, but I have this thing about cold weather. I don't mind the snow, but man, I hate the cold. I guess I guess we would really be freaked out if it was 80 degrees and we had snow. That probably would not be, that would be really weird. Oh yeah, that's we always say that in the Chicago area that it can go from, the weather has a mind of its own in the Chicago area. It does what it wants. But you guys had that really cool thing out on Lake Erie. I would have liked to have been there for that. Yeah, I think we're prone to that because of the lakes. If you live along the Great Lakes, you're going to be influenced by them. Whether you like it or not. Oh, nice. Hopefully, it wasn't too bad and you got to enjoy it. I don't know. I don't hear them all that often. So, Chloe, this is what happens when my topic for the evening is used up. We just chat and talk about weird stuff, whatever is brought up. TikTok went pretty well the other night. I only had to get rid of one person, maybe two, which is always, that's like mind blowing. It is a crab. It's a hermit crab. A fake one. I don't like him though. I prefer the snakes. Because I can mess with it more. It bends easier. People are like on TikTok, they complain about the snakes. You can't have my Pegasus. I have not also taken down my mesh for the spooky channel. Eventually, that's going to be behind a brick wall. Oh, and other news, I found a pair of gloves that my sister-in-law gave me, and I went to put them on for the spooky guy's costume, and I ripped them. Yeah, it's going to be behind this. Oh, no, but I have to be really careful with it, because I have discovered that it gets onto things like it is now. I had that black Pegasus. It's not really a Pegasus. I forget what its name is. But it's forever getting hooked on him. Forever. Because there's so many points on it for it to get it. Yeah, it's gonna be behind this. It'll be behind this. And maybe that'll keep it from sticking to everything. That's my hope. But at this point, it is what it is. At any rate, we're doing pretty good. Any questions or comments or concerns? No, because the brick is just plastic. See, right now it's stuck to my big guy up at the top. It's aggravating, but oh well. Took me 15 minutes to upload that video. And it is not the best done, but it's done. Anyway, guys, I'm going to sign off because I think everybody's gone now. No. It's going to be a plastic sheet that looks like bricks. So it is what it is. Bye, everybody. Be good.